Welcome back to Blue Pyramid Stories. And now the conclusion to Ray Bradbury's The October Game. By 10 o'clock the doorbell had stopped ringing. The apples were bitten from string doors. The pink child faces were wiped dry from the apple bobbing. Napkins were smeared with caramel and punch, and he, the husband, with pleasant efficiency, had taken over. He took the party right out of Louisa's hands. He ran about, talking to 20 children, and the 12 parents who had come and were happy with the special spiked cider he had fixed them. He supervised pin the tail on the donkey, spin the bottle, musical chairs, and all the rest, amid fits of shouting laughter. Then, in the triangular-eyed pumpkin shine, all the house lights out, he cried, "Hush! Follow me!" tiptoeing toward the cellar. The parents on the outer periphery of the costumed riot commented to each other, nodding at the clever husband, speaking to the lucky wife. How well he got on with the children, he said. The children crowded after the husband, squealing. "The cellar!" he cried. "The tomb of the witch!" More squealing. He made a mock shiver. "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here!" The parents chuckled. One by one the children slid down a slide which Mitch had fixed from the length of the table section into the dark cellar. He hissed and shouted ghastly utterances after them. A wonderful wailing filled the dark pumpkin-lighted house. Everybody talked at once, everybody but Marian. She had gone through all the party with a minimum of sound or talk. It was all inside her, all the excitement and joy. What a little troll, he thought. With a shut mouth and shiny eyes, she had watched her own party like so many serpentines thrown before her. Now the parents. With laughing reluctance, they slid down the short incline uproarious, while little Marian stood by, always wanting to see it all to be last. Louise went down without help. He moved to aid her, but she was gone before he even bent. The upper house was empty and silent in the candle shine. Marian stood by the slide. "Here we go," he said, and picked her up. They sat in a vast circle in the cellar. Warmth came from the distant bulk of the furnace. The chairs stood in a long line along each wall, 20 squealing children, 12 rustling relatives, alternately spaced, with Louise down at the far end, Mitch up at this end near the stairs. He peered but saw nothing. They had all grouped to their chairs, catch as you can in the blackness. The entire program from here on was to be enacted in the dark, he as Mr. Interlocutor. There was a child scampering, a smell of damp cement, and the sound of the wind out in the October stars. "Now!" cried the husband in the dark cellar. "Quiet!" Everybody settled. The room was black. Not a light, not a shine, not a glint of an eye. A scraping of crockery, a metal rattle. "The witch is dead," intoned the husband. "Eee!" said the children. "The witch is dead. She has been killed, and here's the knife she was killed with." He handed over the knife. It was passed from hand to hand, down and around the circle, with chuckles and little odd cries and comments from the adults. "The witch is dead, and this is her head," whispered the husband, and handed an item to the nearest person. "Oh, I know how this game is played," some child cried, happily in the dark. "He gets some old chicken innards from the icebox and hands them around and says, 'These are her innards.' And he makes a clay head and passes it for her head and passes a soup bone for her arm. And he takes a marble and says, 'This is her eye.' And he takes some corn and says, 'This is her teeth.' And he takes a sack of plum pudding and gives that and says, 'This is her stomach.' I know how this is played." "Hush, you'll spoil everything," some girl said. "The witch came to harm, and this is her arm," said Mitch. "Eee!" The items were passed and passed, like hot potatoes around the circle. Some children screamed, wouldn't touch them. Some ran from their chairs to stand in the center of the cellar until the grisly items had passed. "Aw, it's only chicken insides," scoffed a boy. "Come back, Helen." Shot from hand to hand, with small scream after scream, the items went down, to be followed by another and another. "The witch cut apart, and this is her heart," said the husband. 6 or 7 items moving at once through the laughing, trembling dark. Louise spoke up. "Marian, don't be afraid. It's only play." Marian didn't say anything. "Marian?" asked Louise. "Are you afraid?" Marian didn't speak. "She's all right," said the husband. "She's not afraid." On and on the passing, the screams, the hilarity. The autumn wind sighed about the house, and he, the husband, stood at the head of the dark cellar, intoning the words, handing out the items. "Marian?" asked Louise again from far across the cellar. Everybody was talking. "Marion?" called Louise. Everybody quieted. "Marion, answer me. Are you afraid?" Marion didn't answer. The husband stood there at the bottom of the cellar steps. Louise called, "Marion, are you there?" No answer. The room was silent. "Where's Marion?" called Louise. "She was here," said a boy. "Maybe she's upstairs. Marion!" No answer. It was quiet. Louise cried out, "Marion! Marion!" "Turn on the lights," said one of the adults. The items stopped passing. The children and adults sat with the witch's items in their hands. "No," Louise gasped. There was a scraping of her chair wildly in the dark. "No, don't turn on the lights. Oh, God, don't turn them on. Please don't turn on the lights. Don't." Louise was shrieking now. The entire cellar froze with the scream. Nobody moved. Everyone sat in the dark cellar, suspended in the suddenly frozen task of this October game. The wind blew outside, banging the house. The smell of pumpkins and apples filled the room with the smell of the objects in their fingers, while one boy cried, "I'll go upstairs and look," and he ran upstairs hopefully and out around the house, 4 times around the house, calling, "Marion! Marion! Marion!" over and over, and at last coming slowly down the stairs to the waiting, breathing cellar, and saying to the darkness, "I can't find her." Then some idiot turned on the lights. This has been Blue Pyramid Stories. We hope you've enjoyed the October game. I'm Storey Clayton. Good night.